zoom myself in a teeny tiny bit to match your head.
Zoom yourself in. Cool. So market update, guys. Obviously, we've had a lot going on. We'll start off just looking at NFT volume, then we're going to look at crypto, stock market. But just looking the last 24 hours, Blur 44 million. You could probably divide that by 4 if you get rid of wash trading, so call it about 11 million. OpenSea about 11 million. X2Y2 1.1 million. Immutable X, you're looking at $700,000. CryptoPunks $500,000. LooksRare $270,000. So if you add that all together and you get rid of the wash trading, you're looking at about $22 million. So anyone who's telling you that that NFTs are back and everything like that, unfortunately, they are wrong. If we have a look at the stock market, today is down, but a lot less down than yesterday was. Absolute bloodbath yesterday. We had the job numbers come out. There were more jobs lost than anticipated, which is actually bullish in a way because it means that the Fed will actually have to start relaxing their tightening. But then we saw so much more bad news coming out that it just finally really took the market down with it. The biggest thing is this SVG bank, which we're going to talk about. And if we have a look at crypto, I mean, it's down, down, down. The last 24 hours, Ethereum is down over 6%, sitting at 1,420. It actually went up a bit. It was sitting at 1,390. If you look at Bitcoin, just above 20,000, it was below 20,000, so come up a little bit. If we have a look over here, Blur's 50 cents, Solana $17, Gala Games 3 cents, or 0.3 cents, sorry, LooksRare 0.12, just under $4. So you can see here, I mean, a real big red candle in the last 24 hours. And this is mostly due to a couple of things. The one thing that we saw happening was we saw that Ether was sort of labeled a security. So there's this case that's going on against Kucoin, and the Attorney General, when referring to it, said that it was a security in the court papers. Now, obviously, this isn't a ruling that Ethereum is a security. However, it does spark a bit of concerns to see that the state of New York is considering it potentially a security. The petition argues that ETH, just like Luna and UST, is a speculative asset that relies on the efforts of third parties in order to provide profit to holders. And that is the definition according to the Howey test of a security. That's what they argue. So that was one of the things that happened and really caused a bit of FUD. And we saw the price of ETH go down. And the press release also went on, and KuCoin hasn't responded as it goes yet, but they went on to say that I'm involved in illegal business activities, KuCoin is, and a whole lot of other stuff. So that's our number one FUD thing that we've seen going on. But bigger than that in the last 24 hours is the Silicon Valley Bank has crashed. And there are rumors that they might be in big financial trouble. They were trying to raise a whole lot of money that never happened successfully. Just to put this into perspective, Silicon Valley Bank is the top 16 banks in the US, which is huge. I mean, it's not like if you look at Silvergate, which we're actually going to talk about, that's in the top 150 banks. Okay, and even that's had a bit of an impact. But SVB is a massive bank. And they were known for being very, very crypto friendly. So they really had a lot of different angel venture technology backing that they would back those sort of companies. And this is really the reason that we saw this big sort of drop in the stock market, as well as crypto, right? So we've got hedge funds urging investors to withdraw money if they do have them with the bank, and people are concerned that SVB is gonna crash. You'll see over here, right? They were really looked at as being like with unicorn investors and technology firms, they were looked at as the great bank for that. And the problem here is in the last year with the bear market is that there hasn't been that many deals. the huge Silicon Valley deals that we used to in this space, and that's put a lot of pressure on them. They also had 10-year yields. There's been a run on the bank. People are scared. They're trying to withdraw their money. So these guys have gone off and they've sold a bond portfolio worth $21 billion at a loss of $2 billion, $1.8 billion. So just to get liquidity here, just to get liquidity, they wrote it down pretty much 10%. So they were happy to write off 2 billion just to get in emergency $21 billion. What happens from here is still to be seen. But this is definitely a concern. Now, on the other side of it, and it is a concern, it's a big bank, and this is very, very big news. On the other side of it, we do know that Jerome Powell is waiting for death and destruction to happen before he has to pivot. And is this the beginning of a bit of a bank collapse? And will that cause a pivot finally? We don't know. That's number one and number two. But number three is they also underwritten, and will they be bailed out? Will it be a Lehman Brothers type thing? They're too big to fail, or will they be allowed to fail? And that's what remains to be seen. So all of this with SVB is the last 24 hours, but that's really what has led to this massive, massive drop that we're seeing in the market, stock as well as crypto.
Damn.
So yeah, okay, not looking pretty out there at the moment.
But I'm just glad that I did not get paid in ETH for the last couple of things. Just getting paid in a stable coin. I'm like, thank God, bro. Oh my God, that would have been instant L's.
Yeah, well, even if you're paid in USD, as long as you're not holding it in SVB,
Yeah.
you should be okay. But I mean, look, they're a big bank, and then to compound that on top of all of that, smaller story, but this was the big story before it, is Silvergate is officially closing down. So look, the writing with Silvergate has been on the wall for a very long time, and people pretty much knew that this was going to happen. As stated, they're not nearly as big as SVB. They're very big. Silvergate's very big in the crypto side of things, and it is substantial news because in the end of the day, if all these banks that onboard or allow people to buy crypto easily are being shut down, right, then you're going to find that it's harder for people to be able to get money into crypto. And that's definitely going to push us a step backwards because you don't want to be back on the days where you're on Telegram groups and sending each other money in order to get your crypto. And the more of these crypto friendly banks like Silvergate that are going down, the harder it is to get money into crypto. And these guys were a brick and mortar bank. They were a normal bank before they got into crypto, and they knew it was hard to do and would shine a spotlight on them by doing. But they, hats off to them. They took the plunge, and they were really known as the crypto bank. But they never started as a crypto bank. It's not like an FTX and like an exchange. It was a real bank that then went heavily into facilitating crypto transactions and got known as the crypto bank per se. So it's still noteworthy. I mean, a top 120 bank in the US. And that's another thing. It's a US registered bank, subject to the normal laws of banking in the United States, unlike an exchange, especially like one that's not registered in the US, like FTX was with the Seychelles one, not the FTX US. Yeah, I mean, it's still big news, but it's nothing in comparison to SVB. So very interesting times with what's going on at the moment.
Yeah, dude. Well, I'm glad to know this because there were people talking about this, and I was kind of like, I just didn't really know, and I was like kind of busy with other stuff. So I'm really glad you brought this up. So now I have a lot more context. That's why everything's been a little bit of a shit show. I've been a little bit busy like moving and stuff, so there's been extra things going on.